What was the worst display of a sore loser you witnessed? In a high school hockey game back in the late 90s, there was a kid who made an opposing player look really bad with how he got licked. The guy scored. The play was over and he was headed to his team's bench for congrats when the guy he just schooled cross-checked him from behind, paralyzing him from the neck down. Kids who play high school hockey on the North Shore of Chicago still have stop signs sewn onto the backs of their sweaters because of this incident. It was waist down. Still awful. My roommate in college was a classmate of mine at my high school. He was good at Madden, real good. I would probably lose by 50 points at times. But Madden's mechanics are super simple to the point where I figured out my type of play calling to potentially get close to, if not beating him. I played him one day after classes, and he chose to be the same team he always was, and I changed it up to a team with some solid wide receivers. I believe at the time it was the Rams. I hit a few slant route plays, and I went up 7-0. I intercepted his pass after that drive, and did the same play, scoring another touchdown. 14-0, a fumble on his part, followed by the same play by me. 21-0, not even a minute left in this first quarter, and he takes the controller and slams it on the ground, sparks shooting up, the controller going in pieces. We never played again. Back in the olden days, LAN parties required you to daisy chain pieces using BNC cables. At each end of the daisy chain you needed to terminate the daisy chain with a BNC terminator. If you did not terminate the connection, then the entire thing fell apart. One chap, who was at the end of the chain, upon losing a game pulled the terminator and then ran off and flushed it. They weren't items that you could get from your corner shop. End of the party. I coach my son's floorball team. Think roller hockey minus skates. Second last game of last season, we won 3-1. Tradition is both teams and coaches gather mid-court, give each other 3 cheers, shake hands, and that's it. The other coach, team and their parents totally blanked us. We're talking 8 kids here. I was extremely proud how my team handled it. My team's parents were unimpressed as well. It was me. This story still makes me cringe. I was about 8 and on a family holiday. There was a pool table at the place we were staying and I thought I was pretty hot shit for an 8-year-old. There were 3 girls there about my age from one family. One girl had a hand deformity and only had a couple of fingers on one hand, and I assumed she wouldn't be as good as me. She asked if I wanted to play and I agreed. It was obvious she was gonna win really early on and I was so embarrassed about being smug. She had to go to the toilet and when she was gone I started putting my own balls into the pockets, making a big song and dance about pretending I was doing it behind her back, while also making sure her friends saw me. They asked me what I was doing and I told them I felt bad about her losing so I was letting her win. I must have thought I was some genius manipulator or something, but they saw right through me and walked off. I didn't make any friends on that holiday. I was this really small 8-year with glasses that loved to read. It was time for the annual spelling bee and was sure I would win. So in my school you had to go through your class first and I won. Then against the winners of the other classes in your year and I won also. Then we had the contest with winners from other grades and I won. Got a bag of candy, my name in the notice board at the school entrance, and a cute diploma. So far so good. My mom worked so she was always over 30 minutes late to pick me up. She didn't want me in public transportation and my school didn't have school bus service. I never minded because used the time to finish homework, but this meant being almost alone as almost everyone had left by then. I was sitting in the steps in the parking lot when this giant 15-year-old came up to me, angry that I had defeated his sister. He punched my face, pulled my hair, broke my glasses, kicked me several times, dragged me along the sidewalk. I was screaming and crying. At that moment a police car making rounds caught him, as I had a broken nose, 2 broken ribs. He was charged. I transferred schools but never liked spelling bees after that. My little cousin thinks he's the greatest at everything he touches. He challenged me to some Madden. Well, I've been playing Madden since before he was born. We play and I pick a team with a relatively even overall to his. I start beating him. He says my team was better, so we restart and I pick a team with a significantly lower overall than his team. I start smashing him. He gets mad, quits the game, throws my controller and starts crying actual tears, runs upstairs to our aunt. Side note, fuck you Caleb, you're not God's gift to this earth despite what everyone leads you to believe, and there is nothing you're better at than me other than being a miserable little shit. I've seen too many on the golf course. This high school kid broke in through all his clubs in the lake on 18 after he messed that hole up. His parents made him go back at night and fish them all out. Springtime NFL ... Gatorbait made him pay to fix them, then made him buy the clubs from them. Patents that could never do much as looked cross-eyed at his clubs again. Lesson learned. I've also seen guys throw a driver into a tree, then get more clubs stuck trying to get it out. Funny shit. Not me but my wife. She was a visual manager at a department store. The tradesmen at the store, carpenters, electricians, etc., had a dartboard set up, and she played darts with them. She won. Next thing you know, dartboard was taken down and they never played in the store again. My high school's basketball team won by a free throw, and the opposing coach was pissed. He was up in the ref's face claiming that we cheated with that free throw and was threatening to break his face with his own clipboard. He was restrained by his team's players. I'm a lawyer, and when I had just started practicing in court about 5 years ago, the judge ruled in favor of my client. It was a property dispute. The plaintiff's lawyer came up to 23-year-old me and said, "I know you slept with the judge, whore." He couldn't believe he'd lost a case against a young woman. I was so young and timid at the time I just cried. I know how to deal with assholes now. I was hanging out with a friend at a local tournament for Tekken 7, and we watched the finals as one guy who hadn't lost a single round got his ass kicked by his opponent in both games to win. The loser looked like a volcano ready to erupt. The guy stands up out of his chair and decks the winner in the face, which causes everyone else to try and hold him back from punching the other dude's face into the floor. Cops showed up and he got arrested for assault, possession of a firearm and some cocaine he had in his car. It was at my sister's U10 softball tournament about 20 years during the game before hers. The winning team had a tall, big for her age, tomboy-looking girl on the team. The losing team threw a fit threatening lawsuits and demanding a gender test. In high school I was at a preschool where they had a sports day for the kids. During the football scorer match, we had told both the kids and parents there that this was a game for fun, and once we had played for 30 minutes, everyone would win a snow cone. There were no other prizes because they are little kids. One of the kids on the winning team damn near lost it because he didn't score the winning ball and screamed in his friend's face that he stole his goal. I was trying with the teacher to calm the two down when his dad came over and told us we needed to punish the other kid for stealing. It was like 3 days before summer vacation and I was leaving the country, so I told him to his face that maybe if he wasn't such a stupid shaw pony, his kid wouldn't be pitching a 3-year-old's fit. The teacher scolded me for it but in private told me she was happy someone told him off. I was playing a game of TF2, Team Fortress 2, years back, and a guy I was dominating. A domination is when you kill someone 3 or more times without them killing you. Swap teams and swap right back so the domination would be removed. He said in voice calms, "I refuse to be dominated by the likes of you." Edit, I dominated him again a little while after that and he left. One of the top chess players, Hikaru Nakamura, frequently accuses people that beat him of cheating. He doesn't lose too frequently because he is very good. But when he does, it's a shit show, and he also is very hypocritical about draws and timeouts. I was playing tag and there was one of those free roam challenge event things and you had to fall the longest distance without opening your parachute, and I won, and the dude literally jumped into my DMs to call me a cunt and a bitch. It just showed how seriously people take little things. When Chavez lost the referendum in 2007, I think he said it was a victory of shit. Fu una victoria de mierda, on national TV. Also, when his political party lost some regional elections, he used to name the loser candidate the state's protector and gave her all the budget and functions of the actual governor, leaving the winner candidate without money. When I was 7, I was playing a board game called Stratago with my dad. I had been playing games like this for a few years, but things had only just started to really click for me as a kid around this time, so my dad had been shellacking me for a while. Anyway, I finally started beating him. Like every game, I guess the stress of losing to a 7-year-old must have got to him, because after one loss he stood up without saying a word, grabbed the keys, and walked out to the car without saying a word. He was gone for 3 hours. Mom was frantically calling friends and family looking for him because he never did stuff like this. When he finally got back, he just grabbed a beer and sat out in the car by himself for a little bit. I think he might have realized he was getting old. Mom was not happy. We haven't played Stratago since. I played my one friend in Smash Brothers at a hotel party once, and this dude killed himself 3 times in a row by accident. I tried to give him another go cause I could tell he was pissed and I knew that wasn't his real game. This dude starts screaming about how he doesn't want to fucking play and just goes on his loud 5-second rant in front of everyone in the hotel room. Everyone in there was looking at this guy like WTF. And people were looking confused. I didn't even want to say anything back, but when someone asked me, I was like, yeah, he's just mad cause he keeps getting his cheeks spread by me. Needless to say, I don't play Smash with that person anymore. Saw a couple playing Call of Duty. The girlfriend really never played video games but was willing so she could spend time with her partner. She was really good at it. Got many more kills and less deaths than her partner, who had been playing video games their entire life. She tried to take a picture of it for bragging rights, but her partner stopped that short by changing screens before she could. Time the partner. My wife is inherently a gaming god and doesn't even really care about it. Yes, I'm very ashamed. A girl from my group in high school decided to spread rumors about me after a cute guy picked me to go out with, instead of her. The guy found out. Fun high school drama explosion. Haha. Me, losing a badminton tournament by serving into the net. I threw my racket at the wall, it bounced off and hit my teammate. I picked it up and stormed off. Got in my car and drove home. Luckily she wasn't hurt, and most people found it funny, so I was allowed back after apologizing to everyone. My brother and I were playing spades against our sisters, and we came from like 800 points behind, -400 to 400, to win the game to 500. My sisters ripped up the score sheet and flushed it down the toilet so we couldn't leave it on the refrigerator for the rest of the family to see. I was playing volleyball and was 1 point down, 40 seconds to go, timed game, and it was our serve. Our opponent threw the ball behind himself and wouldn't go and get it for us. By the time I got the ball, the clock had gone off and we lost, so I stormed off and our team wouldn't shake hands with our opponents. They called me a sore loser. Frown. My wife, at the time girlfriend, and I were playing a pool tournament. I got knocked out fairly early, but my wife is a much better player than I am. She made it to the semi-finals. One of the men she went up against had a meltdown that a girl beat him and ended up snapping his cue stick over his knee. Former candidate to the 2016 Peru election Keiko Fujimori took 13 days to accept she didn't win. Then she got a lot of his political party candidates for Congress elected, having an overwhelming majority. Thus her congressmen interfered with the government all the time, create alternate campaigns from the state ones to get themselves known, interfered with huge corruption investigations, and I'm sure there is many things I'm forgetting. Not to mention they took down 2 presidents. And now she is a candidate again. My older brother beat me at everything my entire life. Then we got a Nintendo 64 and the turntables turned, spiked his controller into the floor until it had parts rattling. I stopped playing with him because I found myself wanting him to win so I wouldn't have to be in that awkwardness. Little bitch never beat me at Smash Brothers though. Played Yu-Gi-Oh with a classmate, my D heroes again his FHD, he lost. He only had a few spells and no traps. He was so angry he told the teachers I brought contraband to school. They went through my locker thinking I had drugs or a gun. Then he still got angry when the teachers punished him for lying and causing a commotion. I was playing this fighting game called Skullgirls with a couple friends online. I'm not very good at games like that, but Skullgirls? ? It is my jam. Anyway, I kicked one of their asses 2-0 and he accused me of cheating. He kept saying I had to have been doing something that was giving me an advantage or I fixed my settings. He literally refused to move on from it until I did a screen share to prove my game was normal and I didn't change anything. He ended up leaving the Discord call and we didn't hear from him for like a day. He won't play Skullgirls against me now. From me the other day, I was the imposter in Among Us along with one more guy, who we'll call Matt. Well, everybody was trying to figure out who it was, and then my partner Matt said, I think it's this guy, he vented. So, right before I got kicked out, I told everyone he is the other imposter. Donald Trump refusing to concede the election to Joe Biden and making up lies about how the election was stolen. I'd have to say this is the worst example because it fooled so many people into also being horrendously poor losers. This crowd tried to literally overthrow democracy because they couldn't accept that they lost. It's not like he didn't warn us. He said beforehand that he would not accept defeat and the only result he would accept is if he won. This sad excuse for a poor loser is putting our entire American democracy at stake. This fat piece of shit with a spray tan who admitted to sexual assault on tape got so pissed off he lost an election that he incited a fascist insurrection to try and overturn the results, and got himself impeached a second time in a single term. There was this president that lost fair and square, but he kept on saying the election was stolen. He sued multiple times and lost every time. Even when he was leaving the White House he never said he lost and he never congratulated the winner. He whined the entire time like a little kid. My 11-year-old brother refuses to fake lose to his 4-year-old nephew for one game. If they're racing down the driveway, brother wins every time. On the flip side, brother refuses to play game unless he is confident he can win. This is board games, outside games, everything. Also, my parents made us let him win until he was 8. Happened to my brother. About 20 years ago he was working a small pit crew for some outlaws, sprints teams he was friends with. During this time a certain NASCAR champion would frequent the local tracks to keep his skills up. If you were in the pits you knew who he was, but he always raced under an alias to keep a low profile. Well, more than once my brother saw this guy through what he described as a total hissy shit fit when the heat didn't go his way. A lot of helmet smashing, wrench chucking, Cussing like a sailor kinda stuff got him a reputation of someone no one would wanna be around. Anytime someone crashes/destroys/ruins someone else's moment because they never got to experience that moment due to their own stupidity, like younger siblings' prom/birthdays/graduation.